Welcome, everyone. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to be a reality TV star or an Olympic athlete, we're going to dive into the psychology behind that and the mental health effects of being in the spotlight, the physical things that these people have to go through, and from Katie's perspective, what it's like watching dysfunctional people through the eyes of a therapist, and just some fun stuff because reality TV can be really fun, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love reality TV. It's so fun to watch and to just watch these people put themselves out there. And then also, some of it is just so cringy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're doing this in front of millions of people. And then the Olympic athletes, I mean, they're just amazing and incredible to watch. And I love when they do the intros before they compete and you learn about them. There was one ice skater, I was crying at her story. So,
Oh my gosh, wait, that's amazing. I
yeah.
wonder if it's any. I've been watching Traders and there's two Olympic ice skaters on there, I
Oh,
think. I wonder if
really?
it's yeah. And I'm like, I love both of their personalities, so it makes me want to get to know the Olympians more.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I am like honestly fascinated. Like I didn't really get into reality TV and still until it became more like Love is Blind kind of stuff because I'm not into like the Kardashians. And watching the dynamics, I've actually learned stuff about like communication. I've learned how other people's brains work. And then like watching what the Olympians go through and like how they make their decisions. Like I know we'll unpack all this, but it's honestly very mind-blowing. Like there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Olympics first or do you want to talk about reality TV first?
Let's do Olympics first.
Okay. So, what I'm interested in is how is it that these people, one, can do all of these things and they dedicate their life to snowboarding or skiing or ice skating? But what does that look like from a physical health standpoint? Like, how are they even keeping up with all this stuff? Because I can barely run a mile.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine. I would have to guess that it's kind of like, even the college athletes, they have like a
Yeah.
set menu that they eat from, and you do have to watch like what you eat and your calories. And man, those athletes that are like, I don't know, like LeBron James or whoever, like I think they spend most of their waking hours
Yeah.
practicing.
Hmm.
I can't imagine the mental toll of doing the same shot, the same thing, or curling, the same push, like over and over millions of times. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think that would be healthy for me personally.
No, I couldn't see myself dedicating that much of my time to something or being that physically active. And the ice skaters, that takes so much energy to do those crazy jumps.
Gosh.
What are they calling Ilya, the male figure skater, the US one, the quad god? Is that what
Oh,
he
I
is?
don't
Because
know.
he can do the quadruple
Is he the one who did
flips.
the one that was supposed to be banned or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Because you can risk cracking your head open.
Yeah, yeah, he did a backflip, which
Literally
is
insane.
well, also you can slice yourself open with your ice skates.
I did
So,
see a thing on that. I mean, but also, yeah, like as we were talking about before, it's so admirable. Like these people who make it this far have such mental discipline, the mental discipline you have to make it. And like most of the athletes, I forget there's a book like The Confident Athlete or something. When I started reading it, and all the successful athletes actually have an extremely developed mental health practice. Like
yeah.
they are like 100% on top of every thought that's in their head all day, how they approach their routine. Do they meditate? Like, are they getting enough sleep? Like, I know there's the whole physical picture and they have to eat, do everything perfectly. But I think the mental health part is what's really the barrier for most people and probably the difference between who becomes an Olympic athlete and who doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to because the sacrifice is so huge. So, first of all, you have to be okay with sacrificing a social life, relationships, maybe having kids. You have to sacrifice all of that. And then the pressure on these people is crazy because you don't
Yeah.
just get to the Olympics. You have to compete in so many other things to get there. So there's
Yeah.
constantly pressure on them. And I think also a lot of them have the pressure of if I don't do this, what else would I do? Because a lot of them don't, not that they don't have other skills and they're not smart people, I'm sure they are, but they haven't used those skills. They've just been ice skating or snowboarding or whatever for so long.
Yeah. And honestly, what is in my mind all the time when I think about this is that you can have a career ending injury. Like
Yeah.
you can just happen to do something wrong, and it's not that you're just down for the count or like you have to take a few months off. Like that's it. Like you're done. And it's not just that your hobby is done or something you're passionate about is done. Like you made that your career and you made it your life's vocation. Like
Hmm.
that's so much deeper. That's so much worse.
Yeah, I imagine they go through like a huge identity crisis. I know a lot of them just like end up coaching other people so they can still like stay in the sport, but they aren't
Yeah.
necessarily doing it as much anymore. But like, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I know some of them make a ton of money off sponsorships. Like if you're a gymnast or an ice skater or some of these like really popular sports, but I don't know, like the guys that are just like skiing around and then shooting shotguns, like how much money do they make doing that?
Or even is that
I
what?
don't even know what the sport is called, but it came, it was, sorry, it was really boring. It came
That's
on the other day and I watched like 3 or 4 minutes of it and I was like, this is so boring. What is this? But like it's an Olympic sport. I just don't imagine they make a ton of money. I could be wrong. I don't know.
well, also, I mean, the mental health effects of being in the spotlight. So if you're in this Olympic arena where the entire point is that you're being judged and everyone's watching you to compare and
Hmm.
like your whole, and so your entire life's focus and your career that's become your whole purpose is based in a competitive environment, like that doesn't seem great. And I feel like people do judge, like even I caught myself judging a little bit when I heard about Lindsey Vonn that she had like a messed up ACL and she'd hurt her other leg and she still decided to ski and then she hit that pole and like totally broke her leg. Because that makes me think like, well, now like is she even gonna be able to go hike with her family if she wants to? Like do low key stuff, not even Olympics.
Mhm.
And I mean, who am I to judge? Because I'm not her. But I was kind of like, I caught myself like judging that a little bit. And I was like, that would be harsh to have every single person watching you and like putting their opinions on you.
Yeah. Well, I remember years ago, do you remember when Michael Phelps got in so much trouble for, wasn't he smoking weed or
It was just
something?
marijuana. Yeah.
Yeah, and people flipped out and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's a role model for all these kids and now he's been smoking weed and shame on him." And I'm like, he's just a dude.
He's a
Like,
person.
can just let him. I don't know. I have trouble with that sometimes because I'm
No,
like,
I felt the same way.
one, he doesn't owe any of you anything. He doesn't owe us anything. And
Yeah.
so can the man just live his life? I mean, he's an Olympic athlete.
I know. I feel like all these people that end up in the spotlight, like, we end up thinking like they owe us something, or if they do something weird, it's like they owe the world an apology, or I don't
Do
know.
they? Do they?
I know. It's kind of like the question like of, if a star gets plastic surgery, like do they owe to tell it to you because they're a role model?
Yeah, I see people on social media get so upset about that, even with other influencers. And I'm like, why do you care? And they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, so and so actually has filler and never said that she got her lips done. And that's a really bad precedent to set for like young girls. And part of me is like, I mean, okay, yeah, we are setting some sort of precedent that this is normal and maybe we should all get lip filler. But then I'm also like, that they don't owe you anything. It's none of your business what they do with their own body. And if,
Um,
as a parent, maybe it's your job to say, yeah, honey, some people get filler and some don't. Like, shouldn't, I don't know.
I
People might
know.
hate me for that, but I just am always like, who cares?
I mean, at the end of the day, they're a person and like I mean, it's the person who's idolizing them, who's making them their role model. They're not, inserting themselves as your role model.
Yeah.
But that's hard, obviously, because it's a kid. So it's like they don't have full, control mentally over what they're doing. But yeah,
Sure.
I think that they don't owe us anything. I think that it's really nice and like speaks to the person's authenticity when they are
Sure.
upfront and transparent
Absolutely.
about it. But also, like, the only time where I think that they do owe it is if someone's like, buy my skincare line. Look at what it did to my skin, but they actually just got Botox and filler and like a bunch of work,
Sure.
micro needling. Like then, of course, like that's so untransparent.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think sometimes people get way too caught up in what these people are doing. And also, you have to remember if you had to look at yourself on camera all the time and you had lots of people pointing out things
Oh
about
yeah.
you, you might also want to change a few things. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't have people commenting on my social media like, "Oh my God, does she look fatter to you? Is she pregnant? Is she, you know?" And so I don't think about that stuff. But if I got a bunch of comments saying mean things about how I looked, I'd probably be pretty insecure about it for a while.
Which again, like we do live in a society where people comment the worst things and they're so mean. And we do live in a society where our role models are people who are great at acting in movies. And like we value their acting and their beauty above other things that we can make our role models. So like that's
Yeah.
kind of on us. It's kind of like, I don't know, each of us is contributing to that in society, to idolizing people, and then they become role models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think, as far as Olympic athletes go, a lot of them really are role models. They've done something incredible that most of us will never do. And they do have the discipline and all of the like mental fortitude. But then also, sometimes you find out that after all of that, they are not doing so well because they put so much pressure on themselves. And so I think we also have to remember like all of that's really extreme.
They need like probably so much stress relief, massages, like therapists.
Mhm.
This actually, I saw an article about how in 1 week, the 2,500 Olympians that were staying in the village, you went through 10,000 condoms. And I apparently, like the follow-up articles on it explained after interviewing some of them that they're taking a lot of them as souvenirs, but a lot
Okay.
of them they are using. And like, I was just, yeah, they don't have probably like most of them don't have families because they're careers their whole life and like they have all this free time and all this like stress to blow off. There's
It's
a bunch
just
of
a
fit
bunch of,
people right in the town
yeah.
together.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you have a six pack? So do I. All
I
right.
know. Yeah. And on that note, I've always wondered too, like, are the Olympians more hot because they're more fit? Like, is that why they're hotter? Or is it because our society rewards like hot, confident people? And so it's part of why they got that far over someone else who was equally talented, but not as hot as them.
I think it's both. I think especially maybe in sports where like ice skating, you wear a
It's all
costume
about
or
beauty and
gymnastics.
yeah,
And not always, but I think sometimes like that doesn't hurt. I don't know about like I don't know, snowboarding, stuff like that. You're wearing a helmet, no one really sees you. I don't know.
true.
But
That
or
probably
like
does vary.
the skeleton, the skeleton sled thing. It's like luge, but it's called skeleton, and it's
Oh
like incredibly
gosh.
dangerous. And they're like in little sled things on ice. You haven't
Which
seen
leads
this?
to another thing. I've seen people even just like head first. Is that the head first one?
I
Where
don't
they
know if
go
they do
down
head
a
first.
tunnel head first? Because I'm
Maybe.
just like, what would compel you to get that interested in something that's so dangerous?
How did people get so interested in curling?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. My husband loves curling, and I make so much fun of him because he'll like watch it for real, and I'm like, Logan, what do you?
That's like watching golf or
Yeah,
fishing. I can't do
yeah.
that.
Anyways, yeah, I
That's
think
hilarious.
I think also the Olympic athletes that get really famous, I think that can be difficult too because
Yeah.
it's one thing to be really good at the sport and have people filming you do the sport. It's another thing to get a bunch of sponsorships and all of a
Yeah.
sudden be promoting brands, doing commercials, doing all of that. And I don't know how many of them actually want to do that, but that's a big way they make money.
I
So I
know.
think
Yeah.
they
Probably one of
also
the
have to
only.
prepare for that.
That makes sense. That's probably one of the only opportunities for like making a ton of money would be doing the sponsorships.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember it when everyone got really mad at Simone Biles for backing out of competing when she like knew she wasn't in the right headspace. And
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, there's all this pressure. You have all these sponsorships. Everyone's watching you. Everyone's judging you. The nature of this as a competition. And she got so much heat for that. And now I think if she would have done it today and maybe someone else had done, what Simone Biles did back then to kind of set the precedent. Like now I think she'd be rewarded. It was like she listened to herself and
Yeah.
but she had to fight. Like she knew that the right decision for her was going to piss off everyone else.
Yeah, and that's crazy to me. I'm like, what? I'm sorry you wanted to watch her. Yeah, she's great to watch, but like get over it.
It's her
Have
life.
you ever
It's her
experienced
wellness.
pressure like that? Have you like no. That could do so much more harm than good and make it so that she never competes in the Olympics ever again.
Hmm. I honestly think that was so respectable of her. She was like, I value my health and I know what my limits are and I'm listening to my gut intuition. And like to turn down that much pressure, I literally can't imagine the amount of pressure she was feeling. Like
Oh yeah.
internally to make it that far, to let yourself down and
Yep.
externally.
And you know she missed out on a ton of money too.
I'm sure. Yeah.
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 So good for her.
Good for her. We're very proud of Simone Biles.
Yeah.
Talk about a great role model. Like, has she ever done anything wrong? I feel like she's like an amazing role model.
Oh, probably. I feel like that, I mean, really, really wrong. I don't know, but they get picked apart for everything.
Yeah, that's so true. I love how she ended up dating. I feel like so many people end up dating like athletes, like
Oh, yeah.
other, like, yeah, athletes.
You know, Shawn Johnson, she's like turned into like a mom influencer. It's really funny.
Who is Shawn Johnson?
What?
No,
The gymnast, the little tiny gymnast.
I've probably seen videos.
She's tiny.
I'm not good with names.
She definitely won. I don't remember last time she competed in the Olympics, but she won pretty big. I can't remember
Wow.
exactly, but she's amazing. And then the University of Arkansas, their gymnastics coach, I don't know if it's still the same person. She was an Olympian like
Wow.
pretty recently. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely met some people who that was their fun fact in like my world travels or whatever was that they had at one point been an Olympian. And you're like, wow, even if it was just for a year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think they're under a lot of pressure and, you know, they are role models to a lot of people naturally. And like you said, like, I do think that that is so valid because they undergo such a routine, like, or such a vigorous process to end up where they are. It's like, wow,
Mhm.
like, I don't know that I would have the mental or physical fortitude to do that.
No, I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to reality TV. I know
What are
your
your
big love
favorite?
is
Let's start with what your favorite shows are.
my favorite. So I used to be really into The Bachelorette and The Bachelor like a long time ago, though, not recently. I think it's gotten too fake for me. I love Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I have not seen all of it, but I recently started rewatching it. It was on Peacock and then they took it off. So I have to find another way to watch it. I love the Kardashians.
So
I
sad for you that
also-
they took it off.
I know. A long time ago, I used to watch Big Brother, but right now, me and Logan are watching Alone, which is like just a totally different kind of reality TV, but it is fascinating.
That one is fascinating. Like I'm usually like a Bachelor, Bachelorette, Love is Blind, Love Island kind of person, but Alone is crazy.
Let's start with Alone really quick
Okay.
because it's like the weirdest of all the reality TV. But like you go out there with no one and basically nothing right now they're in the Arctic Circle or right now in the latest season. And like you're eating beaver. You're trying to shoot beavers with a bow and arrow
You could
or
not
like
motivate me enough to do this show.
no, or oh my God, the other night, one of the guys, he got a beaver. He was eating a beaver foot and I almost died. I was like, I would starve. I don't
Didn't
think
that guy from our hometown from Fayetteville get like the Giardia from a beaver though? I
it
thought you
wasn't
couldn't-
him. It was someone else on his season.
Oh, I thought you
But yeah,
couldn't-
someone got Giardia. Someone already, oh my God, they found a worm in their fish that they were cooking. Huh.
No.
Oh God.
no.
Oh, horrible. I had to stop watching that one. But what is so funny is like they're all so skilled and they're like ice fishing and doing all this crazy stuff and like making fires from nothing and making these shelters. But what gets them every time almost is the loneliness
Yeah.
from being alone because like I was talking about this last night with Logan. I was like, I could probably do like 90 days alone. I'd be fine. And I was like, but not like out in the wild. And he was like, okay, but like So say you do alone here in this house. You can't
But
use
you
your
wouldn't
phone.
interact on your digitally.
You can't watch TV. You can't get on the computer. You can't use your phone. And I was like, yeah, that would get kind of hard. But these people are like suffering and
Ah,
they always start. Also, these people have the saddest life stories. Like horrible things have happened to them. And I'm like, yeah, I'd be sad too. But they start thinking about how good they have it and they miss their family and they just get so emotional. I mean, starving, dehydration, and sleep deprivation will also do that to you, but it's always the mental stuff that gets
mhm.
them. The person
Oh,
who wins really has just more mental strength than everyone else.
yeah. I that makes me think of in older times and in a lot of cultures how fasting is like such a mentally, spiritually transformative experience.
Hmm.
And like going, like you would take like, a journey and you'd go into the mountain by yourself for however many days until you got that change of heart or change of mind or realization or like tapped into what you're trying to tap into. And like, I don't think, I mean, man, like if you are going into it from that approach, maybe I could do it because I would love to like always further my spirituality. I'm always curious about that.
Hmm.
But if you're going into it for the point of a game show, I don't know that I could do it because I mean,
Yeah.
actually, no, I couldn't. I don't think I could spend more than a week without talking to someone. Like I'm an extrovert. I would just go insane.
I mean, I think now that like I have a child, I think it would be really hard. But like say if I wasn't in a relationship, I could go be alone for such a long time. And I have full faith in that. But the not in the woods, not eating beavers and grouse and squirrels. Like absolutely
Good
not.
for you, because I couldn't do it even not in the woods. I don't
I
think.
couldn't even kill an animal. I would cry. I would be
Yeah.
sobbing.
Even
Like
though I have to eat meat, I eat meat all the time, have to eat it to feel good. I can't. I can't.
I can't. No, no. That's what would do, that would do me. And not talking to people, I'd be fine. And I know people are like, yeah, whatever. No, like I really would.
No, I
I enjoy
believe
being
you.
alone.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's like the most mentally and physically extreme, like taxing show that I can think of. But let's
Yeah.
talk about like the more fun ones. Like, tell me about Love is Blind. I have never seen Love is Blind.
Oh, I've watched every season. Let me tell you the backstory here because it's kind of funny. So
Okay.
I got COVID and I had to move my wedding because of COVID. And Joseph, back then it was like, this was like ground zero. Like we didn't know what COVID would do. Like it would it kill you, whatever. And so Joseph had been staying for a work trip out of town. And so I put on like a mask and packed his clothes inside and went and dropped off his suitcase in the parking lot. And I had to lay down gasping for air like every 5 seconds as I was packing his stuff because I
Oh
was
my
so
gosh.
sick and out of breath and I couldn't breathe. And so like we did that. I handed him off. He went and escaped to Arkansas so that I wouldn't contage him.
Hmm. Because you
And
were still in Portland.
because I was still in Portland at the time. Yes,
Okay.
I was in Portland in our apartment. And so I was by myself in an apartment for like, 5 days or so. And I was like losing it because I had 103, 102-degree fever. Like
Hmm.
I was like losing it. I burnt toast because I couldn't even smell anything. It was crazy.
You'd never make it on alone.
I wouldn't make it alone. I couldn't even make toast inside. And so I like literally took a beach towel, laid on our little balcony out in the sun, and I was like, nature and the sun is gonna help heal me. And I did that and I set up my phone and I watched Love is Blind because everyone in our Facebook group had been like, guys, if you have COVID and you're down sick, Love is Blind. And I was like, I don't even like reality TV. I'm gonna hate this. And I don't know if it was the COVID brain or what, but I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And so I got like addicted, like I was hooked. And I think what fascinates me the most is everyone wants different things in a relationship and everyone has a different level of awareness and experience with dating and a different level of like self-awareness of their self. And watching all of that and watching how different people connect, like I only know the feelings that I've intimately had, maybe a couple friends in relationships. So like I love getting to watch and learn about all these other people whose brains work so differently than mine.
Yeah. So what's the point of Love Island?
Okay,
How do you
Love
rate
Island is different. Love Island
it?
is like So Love is Blind is like we're trying to like really find a match for life. Like we're
Yeah.
trying to get married. Love Island is like who can make it the longest is the most liked couple or who's the most convincing that they like each other. But like you have to be liked as a person or you kind of get voted off.
Okay.
So it's like who's the most likable, attractive person who seems like they aren't a total asshole in a relationship.
Okay. That is okay. So I'm like, that is so fake. None of that is like real.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
But they all have real emotions. Like you get to see
Sure.
their real, like if someone like
Mhm.
spites them or, you know, this guy that they after 2 days somehow view as their boyfriend, they always do this switcheroo mid-season where the boys go to another villa with like a bunch of like really hot girls that are new and they've never met them. And it's a test of like, you know, they have a bunch of alcohol and a pool party and they're like, are they going to stay or are they going to flip? And like most of the times the boys flip every time, even though they know it's going to ruin their internet reputation. They like can't not socialize with these new girls. It's crazy.
The psychology behind it is just so funny because like first of all, yeah, they're on a TV show, but like and the stakes are high in terms of like how much money they could win, I guess. But like the stakes are not that high because it's not real life. So in their real life, if they had a girlfriend and this hot girl, they had the opportunity to hang out with them, maybe they wouldn't because the stakes would be higher. But like this is fake. Like their emotions are real.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But it's so funny. Like, okay, first of all, to go on a show like that, you have to be a little bit narcissistic. Like, you know, you're hot. That's how you got on the show. You have to like to hear yourself talk and you don't mind.
You would die at the intros. They like have them do this whole I love myself, I'm amazing, even though I have all these terrible qualities. They have a full intro like that for each person on purpose.
That would kill me a little bit. See, I don't know if I could watch this show. I have to be a little bit narcissistic, number one. Like, I just don't know how you're
Here's
not.
us as millennials calling everyone narcissists, but it's true.
I know,
as a
right?
case.
It is true.
Yeah.
And then when you're being filmed, you can only be yourself to an extent because this has to be entertaining. So you're going to exaggerate things, do things that you maybe wouldn't normally do because, again, the consequences aren't really very real. What people say about you online is real. But I'm like, guys, you're all watching these people who are not truly acting like themselves and judging them. And like, what would you do on TV? It has to be entertaining.
This is where I think it's fascinating because every once in a while, they'll get someone on that show or like The Bachelor or whatever who you can tell is not media trained and is not an influencer and is literally like a random person. And they're just like acting from their heart and they're not thinking about like, oh, the viewer doesn't understand this backstory, so I have to come off this way. And like sometimes they end up getting totally screwed because they're just a sweet person who didn't know.
They get like eaten alive out there.
Yes, they do. And that's what I think is crazy is nowadays you go on these shows, they can't even be genuine anymore because you go on these shows because you want to be an influencer for the rest of your life. Yeah. And so
if
like,
I desperately wanted to be an influencer and nothing else had worked, I'd be like, oh, well, I guess I'll try out for The Bachelorette. Or, you know.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so they're just trying to stay on long enough to get more screen time because more screen time equals more follows.
Yep.
So it's like that's taken away so much of the genuine nature. But what I think is crazy is that on the show, someone would risk something. So for example, on this season of Love is Blind, like of Love Island, like 2 seasons ago, there was a guy who everyone was rooting for him and this girl Kaylor to like be together.
Mhm.
And he went away on the switcheroo and like ended up like hooking up with this other girl. And he got bashed on the internet, like desecrated, like just I feel like his prospects in life were reduced because of that show. And it's just like, that's what fascinates me is doing something for 2 minutes, even knowing that you're being filmed and that's going to affect the rest of your life. That's crazy. Like you've really got to be in your bubble and forget, I think like the emotions override your logical thinking.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, definitely. And reality TV is just so, I don't know. I think people who watch a lot of it or like younger, like teenagers watching reality TV, I think we have to be careful. Now I'm always like in parent mode and like, I don't care when Ivy's older if she watches reality TV, but I am going to be really careful to be like, hey, this is
Not
scripted.
real.
Like they say it's unscripted. It's somewhat scripted. This isn't how people act in real life. And if, when you start dating, if any of them act like these people, like, no, this isn't how relationships work. And so I think as long as you can tell your kids that, I think it's fine. It's entertaining. I used to love watching The Bachelorette. And when it first started, people seemed very genuine
I
because
agree.
influencers didn't exist yet. That
Yep.
wasn't a thing. And so you went on the show and then you were kind of forgotten. Unless you stayed on long enough, then you got to go on a morning show or like maybe you started acting or whatever. Now, not so much, but I love the Kardashians because everyone thinks they talk about like how stupid they are and like, oh my God, they're so dumb and so
Oh
vapid
no.
and blah, blah, blah. No, they are so smart. They are so smart. You cannot be an idiot and make that much money and have successful brands and do successful marketing. I don't care. Do they act kind of crazy? Yeah, they do. Are they now really out of touch with reality because they have so much money? Yeah. But like, you can't say they're dumb. You just
No, they're
can't.
still business masterminds. Like they understand how to manipulate human psychology and how to show up.
Yeah. You know, the real mastermind is Chris, the mom, because she's
Ooh.
their manager. She manages everything. And like the Kylie and Kendall Jenner, when they were younger, like as soon as they all got famous, she was getting them jobs right and left doing stuff. And that's a whole nother thing. Is that healthy to do that to your kids? I don't think so. But like, Kim knew what she was doing when she was like, yep, sex tape with Ray J. Sure, it's out. Great. How do I take advantage of this? Do I think that's necessarily like a good example? No, but she took advantage of it and started a business empire with her sisters.
I think that's one of the weird things about reality TV is that, like there's this path to getting the wealth that you want in life and like, the connections you want in life. And like you think you have to work hard and go to college and do all this and put in your time at your job and save up. And then there's this alternate reality where you can just be a reality star and you suddenly can have a ton of money for doing not very virtuous work. And like that's
Mhm.
crazy that you can just overnight. I mean, yeah, like are they doing things like being out there researching cancer till 2 a.m. like some of these
No.
researchers are? No, but they have way more money and influence and power.
Yeah, but it's our fault they have so much money because we watch them and we reward that stuff. So then
This is
that's
the
our fault.
part. Yes, I feel like people just like, are like, oh, these people. And it's like, guys, like you are
You're
enabling
watching
this.
it.
You are creating this system. Yeah.
Did you buy Skims? Do you have a Skims loungewear set? Because then you've supported all the Kardashians
There you go.
or
There you go.
Kim at least. Do
What
you buy
is
good
that just
American
like?
jeans?
I actually don't know what Skims is. Is it like
You don't
Spanx?
know what Skims is? No. So they make like Spanx like stuff, but it's loungewear and like bras and underwear. And it's super popular. I don't actually have anything from Skims. Almost all of them have some company and it makes a ton of money. And if you're upset, then don't support them. I don't know. But
Yeah, I know.
the,
I feel that.
the bigger
Yeah.
conversation there for me is like, why do we reward these people and why do we watch them? Even as a therapist, like watching the Kardashians, every 5 minutes, I have the thought, that's not healthy. Or that's, oh, you're not taking care of yourself, especially when Kanye was a big topic on the show and Scott, all these guys, not that they don't have their own issues, but all these people they were married to, like, some of them had real mental health issues. They weren't just like kind of narcissistic or unhealthy in relationships. Like they had actual mental health diagnoses. And that was kind of sad to see that be so public and also for people to not understand. And I would always be like, man, they are struggling so bad. And this is all being filmed for everyone to judge. And if you were bipolar or had a substance abuse problem, how would you feel? Or incredibly depressed and you still had to go be on camera? I don't know. So I have some empathy, but I don't know. Why do you think we as a society reward behavior like that? Why do we watch that stuff?
That's a good question. I think we're just like so trained to look for external validation. Like I think we're also as a whole like ungrounded and not tapped in and not connected with ourselves and like we're just practicing avoidance and distraction. And I will say that's something that I'm really mindful of is I don't want to veg out and watch a reality TV show because I'm just like in fight or flight and I'm like trying to distract myself from like being in tune with my emotions and stuff. Like I like to do it really consciously to enjoy and like nourish myself with some like comedy or something. Like,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I think we're all just like very depressed and wanting like validation outside of ourselves. I am not really sure. What do you think it is?
I think we like watching pretty people. The more attractive you are, I think we like to watch pretty people.
True.
Uh, I think also sometimes it's just fun to watch something that you don't really have to use your brain to watch it. It's just pure entertainment. And then also, it's funny to see like what shows people like to watch, what reality TV, because I think it says something about like what is it that you're looking for that you don't have in your life? So you're going to live vicariously through
Ooh.
this person and see it. So, like the Kardashians, I really appreciate their like business skills. And so I like watching that part of it. I also think relationships are fascinating. And I like to see, like, oh, she's that way in this relationship because this happened in her life. Or like with the Kardashians, like, yeah, Scott is doing all of these crazy things and cheating and going to Vegas and not telling anyone where he is because he has a substance abuse problem. And he has a substance abuse problem because he's incredibly depressed and he's traumatized from his parents dying. Like, yeah, of course he's acting
Therapist
that
take here,
way.
guys.
Of course he's acting that way. And he has tons and tons of money. The rest of us can't afford to go do that. But a lot of people would go do crazy destructive things like that if they had the money. So the problem was he wasn't getting help. And also everyone's like, why is Scott doing this? And it's like, guys, why do you think? Look at his life. He's not happy. So not that that excuses the things that he did or tons of other people, but
Yeah.
like that's why.
No, yeah. I mean, and yeah, if it's the matter of like why do we watch these shows in the first place, like I think I'm right with you. I think it's fascinating. It's
Hmm.
fascinating. I love seeing the psychology. I love seeing the relationships. And I think I'm really drawn to like raw expression of emotion. Like
Yeah.
and seeing this unfiltered true, there's something about knowing that it feels, it's more true than watching like Modern Family scripted episode. Like
Hmm.
that's something that someone is probably really experiencing. It's like almost like you get this like insider window. It's almost like, I don't know. Yeah, there's something about that for sure.
And there's usually someone you can relate to on the show. Like with Love Island, like I'm sure there's someone that you can relate to, or when you learn more about them, has had some similar experience in their life. So you
Hmm.
find people to relate to. If you're watching something like the Olympics, maybe you relate to one of the athletes and you want to be more like them, their good qualities. If you're a survivalist and you watch Alone, you might really learn something. I've learned tons of things from that show. I don't think I could successfully pull them off in the wild, but I know that you can do certain things now. So I think we do learn things too.
I feel like I've learned, which sounds so funny to say, but I've learned a lot from watching the love shows. Like
Yeah.
just watching how people communicate, like seeing different ways of approaching situations, seeing the considerations that they're taking, and like, wow, like I'll have a moment every once in a while where I'm like, I didn't even know that was an option to check in with myself like that before I went and did this thing this person was expecting of me. Like, I feel like
Hmm.
you learn like some social skills. And also, I think in a weird way, it's helped me because, like you said, we relate to these people that we see and we see some of our own patterns in them. And I think it's also identified areas for me where it's like, okay, do I want to, like, are they doing something that I sometimes do that I'm like, ooh, I don't actually want to be showing up in that way? Or that came off really dysregulated and I could tell that was really ungrounded. So when I do that thing, I'm probably ungrounded in that moment.
Hmm. Yeah. And it is funny to just see all of these, like you said, dysregulated, ungrounded people. It's just a mess a lot of the time.
Honestly, it makes me feel a little better about my life sometimes, which is terrible to
Right.
say, but like Yeah, if I've had a bad day, I'm like, it's not as bad as what I'm watching on TV.
I mean, yeah, right? You're like, well, at least I'm not crying on TV to millions of people watching. So,
Well, I'm curious. Okay, so like being an actual therapist, like
mhm.
you're watching all these people, without overtly diagnosing anyone. Like, what is it like to, I mean, it's like you were saying, it's got to pop in your head and you've got to recognize, like, oh, that person is having tendencies, like maybe they're in a manic episode right now, or like what's
Yeah.
going on in your head?
Yeah. I mean, so on the Kardashians, some people clearly were manic, bipolar. The like love kind of shows, what I notice a lot is people are really codependent, and people being codependent doesn't mean that you like need the other person to be around all the time doing things for you. It means that you can't be happy unless they are happy, and you let all of their emotions dictate your emotions. So there's a lot of codependent people. There are a lot of people that just clearly have never had a healthy relationship modeled for them. Just a lot of communication issues. And then it really stands out who has low self-esteem. And so not necessarily anything diagnosable, but like the codependency on those shows is usually pretty significant.
Okay, what's the difference between codependency and an anxious attachment style?
So anxious attachment style, so if you have an anxious attachment style, you are likely to be codependent.
Mm,
Because if you have anxious attachment, it's kind of like you don't want to be left, or like you have a fear of abandonment, or you were in a dysregulated household and you didn't know if your needs would be met or not, whether that's emotionally or physically, whatever. And so because of that, you kind of latch on to people and you don't want them to leave. So you do everything you can to make them happy so that they won't leave.
mm,
Then you get really caught in this cycle of, this person did something crappy, I'm going to rescue them, but then I'm going to be upset that I rescued them. Now I'm mad at them. But because they're mad at me, now I have to fix it. And so you get stuck in this, like, it's a triangle. I forget, it's like the triangle of codependency. You get stuck in it. And it's a bunch of like rescuing, getting upset. Just it's really unhealthy. So I think if you have anything other than a secure attachment, that's going to show up as things in your relationship.
okay, that's fascinating because I've always wondered what questions, because like all these reality shows have psychologists that are the backbone of the team for selecting all these people.
Hmm.
And I've always wondered, they've got to have a checklist that's like, is this person codependent? Is this person have attachment styles other than a secure attachment style? Like they must have all
Hmm.
of those because those are the people that make for good TV and have,
Yeah.
it would be so boring if everyone was like, I know my worth, like, no, thank you, like, and just moved on.
Yeah. Yeah. So you also have to think about, yeah, who are they picking for this show? They're not going to pick someone. I mean, they might have one person with like a really good secure attachment who has lots of, self-esteem, and they're going to be the outlier on the show, and that'll make it interesting. But if you had a bunch of people like that, it would be fun.
Yeah.
So they're going to pick people that have trouble communicating, or are serial daters, or have only been in like one relationship before, and this is going to be crazy for them.
Yeah.
So a lot
Like,
of extremes.
is it fun for you as a therapist to watch those kind of shows? Or is it like, feel like your work brain keeps turning on because you're like, oh, I can't not notice that tendency. You know what I mean?
If it's like, it doesn't really bother me because I don't sit there and just think about this all the time. If the same person is doing the same thing over and over again and I think they're annoying, then my therapist brain turns on and I'm like, oh, what's wrong with them? Oh, they probably have this issue or that issue or whatever. But most of the time, no, because I can separate, like, is this a stupid show? Yeah, but it's still fun to watch.
Fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah. Because I like to, I don't know, like relax and unwind to these shows. So I was curious what was going on in your brain.
Hmm. I mean, even last night we were watching Alone, and one of the guys, so like, you don't want to move around a lot because you burn too many calories moving around and you're not getting enough food. And so they're
Oh my God.
constantly should be thinking about their calorie burn. And one of the guys was just doing all of this unnecessary work on his shelter. And Logan was like, why is he doing that? He needs to just go lay down. And I was like, he's probably ADHD. I was like, could you just go lay down? He's like, well, no. I said, he's probably ADHD and he has to have something to do. And so, yeah, he's moving too much, burning too many calories. And that's not good for him winning the show. But for his mental health, he'd probably go nuts if he was just laying in his shelter for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
stuff like that does come up. And I'm like, okay, well, can't you see? And then I'm sure I'm super annoying. But also,
No, I
I'm
do
just
that stuff too.
guessing. I don't know these people. It's just from what I see, this is what I would guess.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I do wonder what it's like, the transition of like coming off of these shows and coming back home. Like you just spent all this time
Oh, yeah.
having to conserve your calories, and then you come back home and you can do like there's a grocery store full of food and you can get as many calories as you need. Like that's got to be an insane mental transition, the coming back.
Oh, yeah, because they all lose like 30, 40 pounds. The people by like that are at the end of it, they lose.
Yeah.
You can like see their cheekbones. Like, so it must be crazy to go back and like, you got to slowly put that weight on. You mess up your digestive system eating too much too fast. And like,
Eating syndrome. Yeah.
yeah, they've only been eating like beaver and squirrel and fish.
I hope the doctor brain in me is like, I hope they work with like a medical clinical like nutritionist or doctor to help them so they don't
do.
get.
So they do med checks every so many days and they come check all your vitals, ask you how you're doing. And if you hit a point where you've lost a certain percent of your body weight, they pull you.
Okay.
Or if you're sick, or if you're like, a lot of them tap out because they're like, my heart's been racing. I'm having trouble breathing because they're starving.
Yeah.
So they do the med checks. And if you're not fit to be out there, they'll pull you.
Okay. Yeah.
So you
But
can't just go out there and die.
Yeah,
You
fair
still
enough.
could, but
Fair enough.
a bear could get you. So
That's true. Which has that ever happened? I don't think that anyone has ever.
they've had bears come into camps, but no one's
Died.
been killed by a bear or
Yeah.
like mauled by a bear.
Okay, interesting. Man, what a contrast of like coming back from doing alone and having to reintegrate into society and slowly increase your food to I saw again, I watched too much Love Island, but I saw the after the show one where they filmed them all like now they live in LA and they're all influencers and they're all like, oh God, this job is just like it's so hard and so depressing and so much pressure being an influencer that they're saying to the TV show of them being an influencer. Like that's what the show is about.
Mhm.
And they're all like, oh, like this is so hard. And a couple people drop off and just go back and like get jobs because they're like, this is so much healthier. And then the rest of the people just complain about it, but choose to keep living that lifestyle and continue influencing. I'm like, you could you're an accountant. Like you could go get an accounting job. So they're like, oh, it's just so hard to reintegrate back into society. And it probably is. I've never been on a reality TV show. It's probably so hard, but it's like, I don't know. I just don't feel as sorry for them. I'm like, you don't have to. Like you chose
No,
it.
they're doing it for money and for recognition.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So yeah, the transition is probably psychologically tough, whether you're on Alone or whether you're on Love Island, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any other thoughts? Any other insights that you think would be good to share?
I don't think so. I think, just if you like reality TV, great. Just remember that none of it is actually real. Don't compare yourself to those people because they're a special breed. That's why most of us aren't on reality TV. So
I love that's a phrase you say like that. Yeah, they're a special breed.
they are a special breed. You have to be to put yourself out
Oh.
there.
Yeah. And mental load wise, I think that if I were to put words to what I do when I decide whether to watch something or not, it's like, is this going to relieve my mental load? Like, is this going to like help me truly relax and unwind? Or am I just going to get stressed or caught up or feel inferior or like compare myself visually to someone if I'm watching a reality TV show? Because
Yeah.
they can be fun, or I do think they can be a little harmful. So
Yeah. And also I know people that like they get together with all their friends and watch the episodes and like that's great. If that's a way for you and your friends to hang out, like more power to you. Great. Do that. But yeah, if you're just watching it and comparing yourself and it's making you upset that you don't look like them or have as much money, like stop watching it.
yeah, I love that. And on that note, there are so many sports bars out there for all the men who watch football and stuff together. Where are the bars for the Bachelorette viewing? And like, where's all these things that we as
I've
women.
had this conversation before. I
Yeah,
don't
that
know,
would be
like,
so popular. Like, if anyone's listening, can you make that, please?
can you make it in Fayetteville, Arkansas,
Yeah,
please?
like instead of showing up to watch the game at this time, like do it when the episode drops of these
Yeah.
other things that other people like to watch for
Yeah.
sure.
I feel this exists in some big city,
I
I'm
hope so.
sure, but
Yeah, we need one here. Maybe in Fayetteville on the square we can have some influence.
yeah. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Okay, well, I think that's a wrap for our reality discussion. Let's dive into our health trend audit. What are we thinking about a health trend? Katie has one that she's withholding from me. So what is it?
Yeah, so I didn't tell her about this because I wanted like an honest reaction from her. Okay, so there's this product. It was advertised on another podcast that I listened to. So I looked it up. It's called Neuro Gum. So it is I couldn't tell if it was a mint. They were calling it a mint, but it says gum. Anyway, it's a mint or gum. And it has 100 milligrams of caffeine, L-theanine, B12, and something else. And you're supposed to be able to take it and it like increases your focus by like 20% in some study. If like, could it actually work that quickly? Like I pop this mint and then I immediately am like focused and ready to do something?
Okay, yes, because all of those ingredients do increase focus and alertness. And
Okay.
I mean, if it's in a mint or a gum form, you'd be getting sublingual absorption through your thin gum tissue straight into your bloodstream. So you wouldn't even have to wait for your gut to digest it, break it down, and then absorb it.
Oh, okay.
But like, I hate all these things that just have caffeine. Like, and maybe they're very upfront about it having the caffeine, but I've had a
It
couple
does.
patients. Okay.
That's like
okay.
the first thing it says.
Okay, because I've had a couple patients that are like, yeah, I'm taking this adrenal tonic that's like supposed to like restore and heal my adrenals to give me so much energy.
But it has caffeine in it.
And we look at it and it has like
Oh,
200 milligrams of
come
caffeine. And it's
on.
like, that is not, but like L-theanine is great. B12 is great. I wonder if it's probably not because it's hard to preserve in oral tablet form, but I wonder if it's an okay form of B12 for people who have MTHFR.
Oh yeah, I don't
That'd be
know.
something to look
But
into.
okay, I'm actually shocked. I thought you were going to tell me this was BS because I thought, I mean, they had a study cited that the company did it. It was a very, very small study because this is like a newer company. But I really thought you were going to tell me this was BS.
No, I mean, caffeine increases your adrenaline and your dopamine, which help you focus. And then L-theanine is freaking amazing. I love it. And it
Okay.
tones and balances like your brain function. And then B12, also, we need it for healthy brain function. So like, I don't know. It's
Okay.
probably true. Yeah.
Shoot. Okay. Maybe they will sponsor us and get our first podcast
Except
sponsor.
I can't handle more than 2 milligrams of caffeine in my sensitive body. So that's a no for me.
Oh my God. I can drink 200 milligrams of caffeine and go to sleep.
I would be in the hospital with a heart attack. Girl, I am awake at night if I drink a full cup of green tea, which has 30 milligrams of caffeine in the morning.
You would never make it on alone.
I would never make it on alone. I also have slow detox genetic mutation, and I'm blaming it on that. But also, I think, not used to caffeine. So
I'm just messing around. I would also never make it on alone.
I think you would make it way longer than I would.
I wouldn't eat anything out there. I'd be foraging for berries and then eat ones that made me sick and they take me out. So
Yeah, but like you would like push through it. I don't know. I'd be like, all right, I got one night of bad sleep. I'm done with this. We should have a competition in like a friend group, like who can go the longest.
we should. I don't just have a kid and then you'll see if you could make it or not.
That's hilarious.
I did really poorly with sleep deprivation, so I don't know.
I can't. I need my sleep. I fall apart. Well, all right, that's our health trend. I'm not saying it's necessarily great for you because caffeine isn't amazing for a lot of people, but it would work. I think it would work. Yeah.
All right. Well, I was wrong. Okay, cool.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for tuning in today.
All right, we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly reset. If you loved hanging out with us today, subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this with a friend who could use a little calm and connection too.
This show is for education and inspiration, not medical advice. To learn more or connect with us, check out the show notes below. Until next time, take care of your mind, your body, and your heart.